Went down to the cornfield to pick a mess of beans. Along come the bell cow pecking at the green. Oh, the bell cow, catch her by the tail. Oh, the bell cow, milk her in the pail.
Hello and welcome to Catch It by the Tail. I'm Sally Swartz and today we have an episode I'm calling Tricksters because it's about people who are tricky, who get what they want by tricking other people. That can be a useful skill, I guess. At least that's what I learned from the story we'll hear very shortly. But it's not very comfortable to be the one who gets tricked, and that's what I learned from the song we'll hear first. This is Danny Kaye.
This is the story of the king's new clothes. Now, there was once a king who was absolutely insane about new clothes, and one day, two swindlers came to sell him what they said was a magic suit of clothes. Now, they held up this particular garment, and they said, "Your Majesty, this is a magic suit." Well, the truth of the matter is, there was no suit there at all. But the swindlers were very smart, and they said, "Your Majesty, to a wise man, this is a beautiful raiment, but to a fool, it is absolutely invisible." Well, naturally, the king, not wanting to appear a fool, said, "Isn't it grand? Isn't it fine? Look at the cut, the style, the line. The suit of clothes is altogether, but altogether it's altogether the most remarkable suit of clothes that I have ever seen. These eyes of mine at once determined, the sleeves are velvet, the cape is ermine, the hose are blue, and the doublet is a lovely shade of green."
Lovely shade of green.
Somebody sent for the queen. Well, they sent for the queen, and they quickly explained to her about the magic suit of clothes. And naturally, the queen, not wanting to appear a fool, said, "Well, isn't it rich? Look at the charm of every stitch. The suit of clothes is altogether, but altogether it's altogether the most remarkable suit of clothes that I have ever seen. These eyes of mine at once determined, the sleeves are velvet, the cape is ermine, the hose are blue, and the doublet is a lovely shade of green."
Lovely shade of green.
Summon the court to convene. Well, the court convened, and you never in your life saw as many people as were at that court. All the ambassadors, the dukes, the earls, the counts, it was just black with people. And they were all told about the magic suit of clothes. And after they were told, they naturally didn't want to appear fools, and they said, "Isn't it absolutely the suit of clothes is altogether, but altogether it's altogether the most remarkable suit of clothes a tailor ever made. Now quickly, put it all together with gloves of leather and hat and feather. It's altogether the thing to wear in Saturday's parade."
Saturday's parade.
Leading the Royal Brigade. Now Saturday came, and the streets were just lined with thousands and thousands and thousands of people. And they all were cheering as the artillery came by, the infantry marched by, the cavalry galloped by, and everybody was cheering like mad, except one little boy. You see, he hadn't heard about the magic suit and didn't know what he was supposed to see. Well, as the king came by, the little boy looked, and horrified, said, "Look at the king! Look at the king! Look at the king! The king! The king! The king is in the altogether, but altogether the altogether. He's altogether as naked as the day that he was born. The king is in the altogether, but altogether the altogether. It's altogether the very least the king has ever worn."
Call the court physician. Call an intermission. His Majesty is wide open to ridicule and scorn.
The king is in the altogether, but altogether the altogether. He's altogether as naked as the day that he was born.
And it's altogether too chilly a morn.
Nail broth. There was once a tramp who had plodded all day through the forest with little hope of finding shelter, and he saw a cottage through the trees. There was a fire on the hearth, and he thought wearily how nice it would be to roast himself before the fire and get a bite to eat. And just as he was dragging himself toward the cottage, he met an old woman coming toward him. "Oh, good evening and well met," said the tramp. "Good evening," said the woman. "Where do you come from?" "Oh, south of the sun and east of the moon," said the tramp, "I have been all over the world except for this parish." "Well, you must be a great traveller then," said the woman. "And what may be your business here?" "Oh, well, I would like a shelter for the night," he said. "I thought as much," said the woman. "But you may as well get away from here at once. My man is not at home, and my place is not an inn." "You must not be so hard-hearted," said the tramp. "We're both human beings, and we should help one another." "Help? Who'll help me? I haven't had a morsel of food in the house even for myself. No, you'll have to find shelter elsewhere." But the tramp was persistent, and although the old woman grumbled and complained, she at last gave in to his begging and said that she would allow him to lie on the floor for the night. When the tramp went into the house, he could see that the woman was not as poor as she'd pretended to be. She was only stingy and mean and greedy. In his most agreeable manner, he asked her for something to eat. "Where am I to get it from?" said the woman. "I haven't tasted a morsel myself the whole day." But the tramp was a clever fellow. "Poor old granny," he said, "you must be starving. Well, I suppose I must ask you to have something with me then." "With you?" she said. "What have you got to offer, I'd like to know?" "He who far and wide does roam sees many things not seen at home," said the tramp. "Lend me a pot, Granny." The old woman was very curious, so she handed him a pot. He filled it with water and he put it on the fire, and then he took a 4-inch nail from his pocket, and he turned it 3 times in his hand, and he put it in the pot. The woman stared. "Well, what's this going to be?" she asked. "Nail broth," said the tramp, and he began to stir the water with the porridge stick. The old woman had never heard the like before. "Well, that's something for poor people to know," she said. "I'd like to learn how to make it." "Oh, well, you only have to watch me," said the tramp, and he went on stirring. The old woman squatted on the hearth, her eyes following every movement of his hand. "This kind of nail generally makes good broth," said the tramp, "but tonight, it's likely to be rather thin. I've been making good broth for a whole week with this same nail. If only I had a handful of sifted oatmeal to put into it, that would make it all right. But since there's none, there's no use wishing for it." And he went on stirring. "Well, I might have a scrap of oatmeal somewhere," said the old woman. When she fetched it, it was both good and fine. The tramp put some of the oatmeal in and went on stirring, while the old woman stared. "This broth would be good enough for company," said the tramp, adding some more oatmeal. "If only I had a bit of salted beef and some potatoes. But oh well, no use thinking about it." But the old woman suddenly remembered that she did have some potatoes put away and perhaps a little bit of beef as well. She gave them to the tramp, who kept on stirring, and she sat and stared as hard as ever. "This broth will be grand enough for the best in the land," he said. "Well, I never," said the woman, "and just fancy, all with a nail." "Well, if only I had a little bit of barley and a drop of milk, we could ask the king himself to have some of it," said the tramp, "for this is what he has every blessed evening, and I know, for I have served under the king's cook." "Dear me, the king! Well, I never!" she exclaimed, slapping her knee. She was quite awestruck by the tramp's fine connections. "But there's no use thinking about what we can't have," said the tramp. Then the old woman happened to remember that she had a little barley and that she wasn't quite out of milk. So she went to fetch the one and then the other. The tramp went on stirring, and the old woman squatted down again and went on staring. Then, all at once, the tramp took out the nail. "Now it's ready," he said, "and we'll have a real feast." Of course, the king and the queen, they always have a bit of brandy and a sandwich with this kind of soup, and they usually have a cloth on the table when they eat. But, there's no use thinking about that. But by this time, the old woman was feeling quite grand and fine, and she thought that it would be nice to have it just as the king and queen had for once, and so she went straight to the cupboard and brought down the brandy bottle and the glasses, and she brought butter and cheese and smoked beef and veal, and when she'd set them all out on her best cloth, the table looked as if it were decked for company. Never in her life had the old woman had such a grand feast, and never had she tasted such a broth. And just fancy, it was all made with only a nail.
Sarah Pearce reading that good old story. Let's finish up with a song about a different kind of hospitality. This is Dan Zanes and the Blind Boys of Alabama.
I'm gonna sit at the welcome table. I'm gonna sit at the welcome table one of these days. Hallelujah. I'm gonna sit at the welcome table. Sit at the welcome table one of these days. One of these days. I'm gonna feast on milk and honey. Oh, yes. I'm gonna feast on milk and honey one of these days. Hallelujah. I'm gonna feast on milk and honey. Feast on milk and honey one of these days. One of these days. I'm gonna tell God how you treat me. Yes, gonna tell God how you treat me. One of these days. Hallelujah. I'm gonna tell God how you treat me. Tell God how you treat me. One of these days. One of these days. Yes. Hallelujah. Welcome table. One of these days. All God's children gonna sit together. Yes. All God's children gonna sit together one of these days. Hallelujah. All of God's children gonna sit together. All of God's children gonna sit together one of these days. One of these days. I'm gonna sit at the welcome table. Yes. I'm gonna sit at the welcome table one of these days. Hallelujah. I'm gonna sit at the welcome table. Sit at the welcome table one of these days. One of these days. Sit at the welcome table one of these days. One of these days. Yes, gonna sit at the welcome table one of these days. One of these days.
And that's all there is. You'll find all the details about what you've heard at the Catch It by the Tail website. That's catchitbythetail.com. And you can also connect with us on Instagram. If you want to hear more, and I hope you do, you'll find us at eastsidefm.org, or you can subscribe through iTunes or your favourite podcast app. Bye for now.